Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the G7FX data calendar section. So this, I said it before and I'm probably going to say this about everything, but it really is true. The most important thing you'll ever do when it comes to fundamentals, give yourself a foundation, a basis upon which you can organize yourself, do your analysis. Everything is going to start basically from your own, fundamentals dashboard, which I've got here. What we're going to do, right, is we're going to go tab by tab. There's no point us building, we're going to build this, right? So don't worry, it's a very practical course. I'm going to get you building everything. It'd be boring if I just got you sitting here talking to me, you'll fall asleep. And you'll learn stuff, but obviously you won't learn anywhere near as much as if I get you building this thing. There's no point me just giving you this spreadsheet. It's not going to be useful for you. I want you to really become the best in the world at this stuff, and that's only going to happen if I show you how to build this yourself from scratch. So and the reason I'm saying this is because I don't want you to think I'm doing this as some sort of punishment. Okay, in fact it's the opposite. Hopefully you see this is an incredible once in a lifetime opportunity for you to build something that's going to really last a lifetime. And in fact, you just don't need to take my word for it. Look at this yourself. I'm sure you come to the same conclusion. So what we're going to do, right, is rather than do it all in one go, because it'll be like a 10-hour module, is we're going to go step by step, very, very slowly. The most important is this tab. Obviously, these are individual data pieces. And in a later module, we'll also talk about how you can set yourself up for the coming weeks. What I want to do is just have a template. I like to have a template in place. I've zoomed in here. Let's just zoom out a little bit so you can see that. I know I'm covering a little bit of this, but don't worry about that. So basically what it is, this first tab, I want you to focus just on this tab. Imagine the other ones didn't exist, right? Because we are going to go through them one by one. But this particular tab, the monthly calendar, it's basically just a template, and it's going to really give us the basis upon which all economic events and speeches and anything to do with things that may move the market and are relevant to the market that we trade when it comes to fundamental data are all going to be laid out here in a nice little template. Okay, won't necessarily always fall on the exact day, but they're going to give us a rough idea. So straight away, you're not always going to remember the exact date that, for example, inflation data might fall in week 2. But it's irrelevant because I know typically 99% of the time it's going to fall around this period in week 2. So do you see what I mean? I can just literally off the top of my head know roughly when the most important pieces of data are going to be forming. You don't find this anywhere else. Incredibly powerful. I could not find this anywhere on the internet, so I built it myself. I feel it's very, very important. So that's what we're going to focus on. Let me just, I like to do the bullet points on the slide just to keep it nice and organized and professional in terms of being a module. I'll literally spend 2 minutes just going through these, and then we're going to start building that from scratch, and then it will kind of make sense what we're doing. So yeah, basically you already can see that it's the most succinct, relevant data calendar in the world. You'll know straight away. Week 1, jobs data. Week 2, inflation data. Week 3, retail sales data. Week 4, very quiet, tends to be peripheral data, sometimes FOMC. Do you see? I'm saying this with no notes, nothing. I know this because I've been using a template like that for many years. Try doing that, looking at public website. You would not have a clue, right? So hopefully this is giving you some motivation and excitement as to how your fundamental knowledge is going to be by the end of this course. I'm going to get you building from scratch. Like I said, best way to do it. Absolutely best way to do it. And end of the day, if you think about it, it's easier for me just to give you the template. Why, what do I benefit do I get out of spending? It's literally going to be hours showing you how to build that from scratch, because I want you to do well. That's why I'm doing it. Otherwise, if I didn't care, I'll just give you the spreadsheet, right? I want you to build this thing from scratch. You're going to see how much is going to help you develop building it yourself. So hopefully you're excited about that. And then plan your week, month better than any other, even forget about retail trading here. We've finished with that, right? A long time ago. I'm talking here about even compared to other professional traders, you're able to plan your week or month. You heard me say that. Payrolls, first week. Inflation, second week. Retail sales, third week. Housing, peripheral, that kind of data. And fourth week, some GDP data. Quarterly GDP, typically fourth week following the quarter that's just ended. Do you see? I just know it off the top of my head. So I know if I'm in the third week, right, I know what I need to be looking for next week. I know what the market's going to be focusing on. I know what the people who actually move the market, important people, are going to be focusing on. And you're going to get to that stage, right? Let's go.